Well, welcome everyone. I am Kevin Cobb, Vice President of Experiential Marketing with Augeo.
Hi, I'm Joan Wells. I'm President of Experience at Augeo.
So we want to end on the new hotness, as we like to call it, which is to talk just a little bit about AI.
Yep.
How do you think about intentionality with
Yes.
AI? Because that's where we're going to see value.
Yes.
And so if I were to ask you, like, what are 3 ways that we could leverage AI today
Yes.
that would feel intentional and impactful? I'm curious what you would say.
One of my favorite, I have to say, is one that you created, which is this ability to help an individual make a statement about themselves, be seen within the context of a large event, kind of create this whole icebreaker experience.
The superhero application, if you will, of AI, and the ability at scale to take an individual and transform an image of them into something that feels really personal, but really exciting and really engaging. And
The one that you did that came out for me was a gaming character, was super powerful looking with flames behind her head. That was me. And I have loved that image and treasured it ever since. And I remember how I got it, where I got it. And it's the type of thing that when you walk into an event and that's on your name tag, people are going to ask you about it.
I think another really useful way that you could deploy AI, taking a body of information that an attendee needs to interact with and making it feel more like a conversation.
Yes, you're hitting on predictive registration, which I love. It's who is excited ever to register for an event. You always delay doing it, it's always a hassle, and you're convinced they're going to ask you questions they should already know about you, hallmarks of the registration process and a typical experience. But what I love about the predictive registration models that you've created is that it feels like someone is listening to me, wanting to ask me more so that it can better feed to me recommendations of these are experiences or sessions you might be interested in attending. Here are people based on your responses you might be interested in meeting, and here's how to reach them and contact them through our event platform.
We've talked a lot about the data journey and gathering all of this data, and you and I know experience data is messy. So you have this mountain of data, but how do you then begin to glean insights from that? And so I think the idea that you can get an assistance from a tool that knows how to process a lot of information and can essentially elevate what's important by answering questions, that's a great usage of AI as well.
A lot of times when a team sits down to go through this mountain of information, qualitative and quantitative, that comes from the full attendee journey, the full event experience, there is a tendency to have a bias or a thought of, I'm going to prove what I already think I know about this audience by connecting these dots in this way. And utilizing AI as another way to not to replace the human insights, but to then provide maybe a different dot connection process of all of the data. It makes you look at things a bit differently to have a different perspective.
Now, I will say, you have to also be aware of what the limitations of AI are. So, we're constantly, especially at Augeo, we're constantly aware of keeping track of that and challenging one another and asking questions. It's the reason we have an AI ethics committee to make sure that we meet regularly. We understand what we're seeing and reading and the biases that are still present in AI. Maybe some of the places where there's weaknesses or where inaccurate things are coming back. So be aware of that like any other tool. It's an important part of the process.
Yes, and it really isn't, it shouldn't be the only solution to something. It augments and provides a different view or a different lens or different dimension to the experience. It's really not meant, I don't think at this point, to replace anything that we currently do in experience.
Either way, the future is exciting with AI,
Yes.
and it'll continue to be a tool, and it'll be something that, one of my favorite sayings is specific to creative and AI, but I think you can extrapolate it to, I think, anyone, is that, AI is not going to replace creatives.
Right.
But creatives that use AI will replace those that don't.
I would agree with that.
So clearly we've just scratched the surface of AI. There's so much more to be discovered. I mean, it's new every day. There's new tools. What would you say to a client that wants to dig in and start thinking about AI for experiences?
Things are changing so rapidly, as you're saying, and at Augeo it's our job to stay abreast of all of that, to make sense of it, to separate the hype from what is real, and to determine what is actually useful and relevant to the experience world.